Hello, my ravenous readers. It's Uncle Sean here. Welcome back to Kelly Street. Another week is over, but that brings us that much closer to this week's Read-Aloud. This week, we're going to take a break from our usual routine so I can send an extra special shout out to all of the incredible campers, camp counselors, medical staff, and all of my good friends at Camp Happy Times. For more than 35 years, the Valerie Fund has organized and run Camp Happy Times, a one-week overnight camp experience for any child who has overcome cancer or a blood-borne disorder or who is currently fighting to beat it. It has been my great pleasure to volunteer as a counselor at Camp Happy Times for several years now, but unfortunately, I was not able to attend this year. So instead, we are dedicating today's episode to this amazing camp and to all the inspirational people that you can find there. It really is an incredible place, and the campers and volunteers are some of the kindest, warmest, and strongest people I have ever known. While at Camp Happy Times, campers are encouraged to take on a variety of challenges and activities throughout the week, ranging from rock wall climbing to tubing, basketball, archery, and a Camp Happy Times favorite called Gaga. Not to mention all the other great activities, including arts and crafts, cooking, campfires, and a talent show packed to the brim with some truly undeniable talent. The camp is a great opportunity for kids to meet new friends, get out of their comfort zones, and try new and exciting activities that they might not get the chance to do while at home. All under the watchful eye of the Camp Happy Times team of doctors and nurses. Camp has been running all week virtually, and I hope that all of the campers and counselors are having a terrific time together. This week we'll be reading The Perfect Shelter, written by Clare Helen Welsh and illustrated by Åsa Gilland. As many of our Camp Happy Times campers and counselors can tell you, it's just a fact of life that some children do end up spending a lot of time in and out of the hospital when they are younger. This could be for a number of reasons. While thankfully, this may sound a little strange to some of our readers, there are many children and even adults who have to deal with some rather serious health conditions, and taking trips to the hospital can be a very normal part of their regular routine. Honestly, I'd be thankful if you didn't have that experience or know that sometimes children need extra help from people like nurses and doctors and sometimes even surgeons in order to help them be healthy. I imagine that it could be a very scary experience going into the hospital like that. And even if it hasn't happened to you, one day you might meet, or maybe even already know, someone to whom it has happened. And learning and preparing can help us respond with greater empathy. We've got an outstanding book to read this week, so sit back, get comfortable, and let's read.
At first, nobody knew. It was the perfect day. It was the perfect weather to build a shelter in the woods. I called to my sister, "Fetch some sticks." She called to me, "Stack them high." We sang as we worked, and we worked as we sang. It's the perfect, perfect shelter. But then something changed. She looked the same, except she wasn't quite. Mom and Dad didn't want me to worry. "Your sister's just a bit tired," they said. That night, a wild wind blew. But the wind was no match for us. I called to my sister, "Fetch more sticks." She called to me, "Stack them higher." We sang as we worked, and we worked as we sang. It's the perfect, perfect shelter. But something still wasn't right, and I knew it was bad because people were crying. Then they told me my sister was sick. That night, a river of rain fell from the sky. Of course, a little bit of water couldn't hurt us. Our shelter just needed some mending, some fixing. Only when I called to my sister to find some leaves, she was with the doctors. And when I called to her to cover the cracks, she was having an operation. I didn't sing. I couldn't work. I was too worried. In the hospital, I felt cross and sad and frightened, all at the same time. How did it get there? Why can't she come home? Why my sister? I tried my best to listen, but I saw a bright light. Flash! I heard a loud sound. And when we got home, our perfect shelter was no more. But I didn't even care. I just wanted my sister to be better. Days turned to nights. Nights turned to days. The storm eased. Snow settled. My sister was stronger and brighter, so I told her about the shelter. I told her about the snow. Then she whispered, "I think it's the perfect time. I think it's the perfect place to build a shelter. Right here, right now." I wasn't sure at first, but then she got up and told me to fetch some sheets. So I called to her, "Find a broom." We sang as we worked, and we worked as we sang. It's the perfect, perfect shelter. And all the time, neither of us noticed. We were smiling. Now we make plans to go back to the woods to ride out the toughest storms. But until then, today's the perfect day to build a shelter and be together.
Well, that was The Perfect Shelter, written by Clare Helen Welsh and illustrated by Åsa Gilland. And this beautifully written story is a terrific reminder of the power of love, of just how strong the bonds between family members can be, and how important that love can be when we or someone we care about is overcoming an illness or really any kind of challenge. And never forget, readers, that family comes in many forms. Family can be the people we share our names with or our homes with, but it can also be those awesome people we meet along the way, like the people you meet when you go to a place like Camp Happy Times. Whoever they are, don't forget to tell your family how much they mean to you. Readers, campers, Camp Happy Times staff, thank you so much for joining me this week. If you enjoyed today's story, you can help out the channel by liking this video, subscribing to Kelly Street Productions, and by clicking the bell icon so you'll always be notified when we release a new Read-Aloud. That's all the time we have for this week's episode, but remember, there are many little ways to enlarge your world. Love of books is the best of all. See you next time! Well, look who's still here. Well, if you're still here, then you must have time for a joke. This whole episode has been one big love letter to my friends at Camp Happy Times this week. So how about a summer camp joke? Okay, you ready? Why don't fish attend summer camp? Because they're always in school, get it? Boy fish!
Girl fish!
Bye, everybody!